Hello. It's been a minute since I've done this on my YouTube anyway. I've been posting on my TikTok. Um, Completed my 100-day challenge, like I mentioned in my last video that I haven't posted yet. But I kind of do these videos that I keep to myself and just like to give an update or have, I guess, a recollection of what I'm feeling in the present moment, and then later on I'll put it out there just to see my progress and to see my growth. And so this is one of them. But for this specific video, I wanted to do a message to my family and my friends. I've been thinking a lot about my past, through this self-discovery, healing, inner work process that I've been doing for the past since 2019. I really was serious about my healing because I had started going to therapy a couple years back, and it really opened up a bunch of different things that I didn't even know about myself. A lot of learning and unlearning, a lot of confronting the adversities that I've had to face and really accepting that and working through it and digging deep on the repressed emotions throughout my life. And one of that, is I posted a video on it in 2019 about coming out about my last name, Smith. I truly feel that no one truly knew me, and I feel like we as human beings, we all have skeletons in our closets, right? But from my experience, from my personal journey and story, I have lived this lifestyle, this lie where I felt that I couldn't be myself, which led me to really think about my life. And it's something that I've been thinking about for a few years now. I've always wondered about myself. I just didn't know how to explain it or to understand it because of all the repressed emotion, all the feeling and the past traumas and the adversity that I've had to go through. All of that has, and the dense conditioning has all contributed to me being the person that I am today, and the person that I was yesterday, and just me and my interest in constantly evolving and growing and developing myself in a way where I'm aligning to my future self, my higher self. And so this message to my family and my friends, I was listening to a podcast not too long ago, and it was basically talking about friendships and how, when people know you in certain phases or areas of your life, a lot of people tend to think that you're that same person or they know you, when in reality, us as human beings, we're constantly changing, we're constantly adapting, we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving to new people. Change is constant, it's the only constant here, right? So every second, every day, we're being molded into different people. Our thoughts, our ideas, our beliefs, our ideologies, they've changed. And so that podcast, it brought me back to my past. Growing up in high school, middle school, college years, I actually, with one of my friend groups, I was given the name Hopper because of the fact that I don't stick to one friend group. I tend to expose myself to different groups of people, different cliques, if you will. And so I never really stuck to one main group of people. I mean, yeah, there was like that more dominant group, in high school. Like, I was an athlete. I mean, I'm still an athlete, but that was my primary friend group. But then I was also involved with different types and groups of people, which I think is totally fine. I think it's great that people get to expand their minds to different areas, different, just growing, continuing to grow and evolve and expand our horizons. And for me, when it came to friendships, especially friendships that became very close and vulnerable, I know I've had a few friend groups that, you know, girlfriends. Girls are very in tune and in touch and very social and vulnerable and loving. But that was also the part where I was scared. I was really afraid of it, and I didn't understand it. I really, for the longest time, up until, you know, I started this process of going to therapy in 2019, I really started to understand and ask myself these questions that I've avoided and suppressed for the longest time. And what I did know throughout, you know, these tight friend groups or cliques that were super involved and present and open was that I always left. I slowly detached myself from the group. There was no conflict. I mean, obviously there was probably conflict, but it wasn't the main reason as to why I was detached or I was slowly slipping away. It ended in a way where, you know, my girlfriends were still tight and I was just the one who was not as available. And I didn't know what was the reason at the time. I really didn't know what the hell was my problem, was my issue. And in retrospect, I can say now that the issue was that there were a lot of things that I was hiding. I couldn't be my true authentic self. I couldn't be the person that I knew myself to be, that my family knew of me and about me. Obviously they're my family. Like, I knew that they wouldn't leave me or they wouldn't judge me. They couldn't unfamily me, you know what I mean? So I kept a lot of things to myself, and I didn't allow other people to know that. I was fearful. I don't agree or enjoy that I did it, but I know now that it had to happen to be where I am today. I learned a lot of lessons from that, and some of the things that I was hiding was my ethnic background. It's not something that I'm proud about, but again, it's a learning process. There was a lot of influence, outside influence, internal battles that I had to face. My last name's Smith. From elementary to middle school to high school to moving out here, I had always been questioned about my last name, and throughout school I'd always said, and I'd always enabled or agreed to, when people asked me, like, are you half white, I would say, yeah, my dad is half white. And I diverted the attention, I diverted the conversation elsewhere because I didn't want to get into it. I didn't want to have to explain myself. There are a lot of things that I'm not proud about with my family members who were on my dad's side. I'm not proud of the actions that I've done. You know, I've kind of shunned them when they would be happy about, like, saying hi to me in the school. I would ignore it, or I would make up these weird, it's just, I think about it and I cringe, and I am like, if I can tell my past self something, I would probably say something along the lines where it's okay to be who you are, and you shouldn't have to hide who you are as a person. And people that are meant to stay in your life will be in your life, and the unwanted judgment from people, from outsiders, it doesn't concern me. And I know all of this now, but you know, this is not something that a lot of people know. And I was having this conversation with my partner yesterday, and she asked me, who really knows you? Like, who knows you? And all I could say for that is some of my exes. other than that, I was a very sheltered girl who was battling a bunch of inner turmoil and facing societal norms and expectations that I really had some fucked up shit that I needed to uncover and deal with, stop repressing. So aside from my ethnicity, from age about like 10 onward, come high school, I realized that my sexuality is unorthodox, right? In that time, I just felt like, to me, I started having interest in both guys and girls in high school, and then, you know, having to go through the motions of like, what is going on with me, just the concerns and the questions that LGBTQ plus community go through and face, and the worry and the stress and the tension that's put upon us. And then, you know, coming from a traditional family and background, my parents are very traditional, and yeah, so there's just a bunch of things. And so from my ethnicity to my sexuality, I was afraid of what my friends would think. I already lied about a huge part of my life, and I got so good at hiding these things and not letting people in. I've gotten really good. And you know, when you live a life alive for such a long time, or a certain way of living for such a long time, it really tends to bleed into your identity, and you have these identity crises that I feel like I'm still learning to uncover and be okay with. Healing is not linear. You can't expect to get into a process and heal your wounds automatically. It's an ongoing process. It takes daily effort, a conscious effort, long-term, long-lasting, your entire lifespan to deal with it that you push down. So for the longest time, I came out to my parents in November of 2020. You know, a lot of my family members, my relatives still don't know. A lot of my cousins who I was really close to didn't know. And that's why a message to my family, it's like a family and friends, a lot of people didn't know me. They don't know me, and this is a step in the right direction for me, because it's something for me. I need to be able to live my life authentically and be the person that I am, because I feel like I am a good person. I don't feel like, I know I'm a good person. So why do I have to feel like I have to silence my light, to dim my light for other people? I've done this majority of my life. I'm almost 29, and so it's like, okay, no one else is gonna do this for me but me. No one is gonna go through the hardship of dealing with the suppressed emotion for me. No one's gonna be able to do it for us, unfortunately. And you know, this is a part of my process, and also not coming from a wealthy family, coming from a biracial family or parents, I attributed my wealth, or the lack of, to my ethnic background, because they didn't have much. My mom didn't have much, my dad didn't have much. I'm so thankful and blessed and grateful to have my parents and their structure. You know, they were very strict growing up on me and my brother, but I would not trade it for the world. I love them so dearly, and everything that they've done for us was in our best interest. And I'm the person that I am today because of my parents, my brother, my experiences, like my constant effort. And I'm so proud of myself, and no one can take this away from me. No one. I've worked my ass off in all areas of my life, and this is just kind of a start to what's to come. Like, I am so fucking grateful. I've had to go through a few breakdowns to get through a breakthrough, and I feel like I continuously experience that. I live my life in abundance and see things in abundance. Everything around me, the people that I'm attracting, the professional business partnerships, all of that is unfolding in the way that is meant for me. But this part, my friends and my family, the people that I thought knew me on a level that is expected, or when you're going through certain milestones in your life, you think that you have your family and your friends. But for me, I feel like I've done so much of my life in hiding by myself. I didn't ask for help and love to help others, but for some reason it was hard for me, and I'm still learning to unlearn those past behaviors and the conditioning of figuring out yourself. But the message to my family, my friends, is I am doing the best I can. I'm doing this for me so that I can be a better person to everybody around me. I want for everyone in my life that matters to get to experience the things that I have. And the first step is really gifting yourself with showing up for yourself, for showing up for you, doing things for you, doing what you've always wanted to do. Taking care of your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, feeling, being, and not doing. Not just doing. That was one of my main coping mechanisms. I didn't want to feel so badly that I would distract myself from doing other things, other mindless tasks that may be productive or not. I would distract myself from the internal noise because they were too loud so often. I would play music, I would listen to the background noise even if I knew it wasn't good for me. It was distracting, it felt good in the moment, but long term it was just constantly burying the things that I needed to deal with. I just kept pushing it down, and when that happens, you'll implode. It'll come out. So a message to my family and my friends. I'm sorry for not knowing back then, in my past, in my childhood, in my upbringing, what was going on with me internally, not confronting them, which in turn allowed me to react in the way that I did, which was dismissive or not present or detached, invulnerable, word. But it's better late than never, right? I really do the work day in and day out. It's become an obsession. And also with my alcoholism, that's something that I had to work through too, and that I didn't want to admit. But now that I have recently, I can be proud of accomplishments when it comes to my sobriety. I've channeled that addiction towards areas of my life where it serves me. When I put my mind to something, I become obsessed. It becomes an addiction. And for as long as I'm continuing to do good in the world, and I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm constantly healing and trying, right? I'm happy about it. Everything that's happening right now, whether I like it or not, whether I think that it's benefiting me or hurting me, everything is happening for me. It's not happening to me. I'm so grateful, I'm so blessed, I'm so thankful. I literally come out here every morning, every night, midday, a lot of times in a lot of hours in the day where I just spend my time connecting with nature, connecting with the universe, speaking out loud the affirmations that I want to attract and manifest into my life and my reality. So I love you. I hope that you all can understand and you can see the direction that I'm headed, and I want to continue to improve. I really do.